I too young to understand that war.
Yeah.
Japan. Who's Japan?
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast. The key component to any law enforcement officer being the best version of themselves is through education. Sherry Alsop is a leader in providing that education to police agencies, preparing them for the all too frequent dealings with sexual assault victims.
You've seen Sherry on episode 169 of the Suffering Podcast. She survived incest and almost daily sexual assault, so she comes from a place of experience and true understanding.
Sherry has the intelligence, commitment, and compassion to open the eyes of those on the front lines, while providing the tools to effectively deal with a difficult situation. Sherry's instruction comes from experience and multiple certifications.
Training with Sherry will offer on-site training, customized schedules, specialized instruction tailored from a victim's perspective.
You are going to hear Sherry's heart-wrenching but inspiring survivor story. Learn proprietary trauma-informed training techniques, uncovered victim-centered interview methods while earning continuing education credits according to your state guidelines. To be the best, you must learn from the best. Let Sherry also guide you through the delicate cases of sexual assault from a victim's point of view.
Be a source of comfort to those victims affected by these traumatic experiences while producing a solid investigation and uncovering details that often go unnoticed.
To find out more or to contact Sherry Alsop, go to sherryalsop.com. That's SherryAllsup.com.
100 miles up the Hudson River, I go to Tivoli and camp there.
Well, did you know what was going on? Were you aware as a young man?
No.
You didn't?
I first school, big doors, polished rocks.
Did you eat gruel? Because I read this book for the main character's name was Oliver, where they ate a lot of gruel in the orphanages.
Yeah,
oh wait, that was Oliver Twist.
Yeah.
yeah.
Lisa.
More bread.
Lucky, I eat everything.
Well, you've been in World War II, and my grandfather, who I adored and was my favorite person in the world, that man had an iron stomach and would put ketchup on everything. Everything.
Yeah. Maybe I dislike broccoli.
Me too.
Green broccoli.
Me too.
White broccoli I like.
Cauliflower.
It's softer.
So I moved out of my house when I was 17 years old. And here's what I told myself. I'm not going to eat anything green. I am not going to do it. Now I'm 50 years old. My wife makes me eat green stuff. I don't want to, though. So I'm reverting back to when I was a child where I don't have control over my own diet anymore. Yeah. So now there was a fateful day in December of 1941, December 7th to be specific. You're a young man, and the world is all of a sudden, or the United States all of a sudden, is thrust into this war. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Where were you?
Hampton, Connecticut. I get a postcard, 1 cent postcard, and I get drafted.
No kidding.
Yeah. And
what year did you get drafted?
1939, 40, I don't know.
Before Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
Oh, you got drafted before Pearl Harbor.
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
Did you get called?
First, I camp and Fort Dix, New Jersey.
Boot camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then a couple of weeks later, I go to.
Is it this is the Army?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, first port, Fort Dix, New Jersey, and then train ride to Kalamazoo, Michigan.
Ooh.
And Fort Custer.
So there's a great movie by it was adopted from a play by Neil Simon called
Yeah.
Biloxi Blues.
Yeah.
And they talk about the train ride down to Biloxi, Mississippi to go to boot camp. And all the shenanigans, you got a bunch of guys in there for 3 or 4 days in hot weather, crammed into this train. And like I've been on a train for 4 hours, 3 hours, but I don't think I could stand on. And this was a much more comfortable seat than you probably sat on.
First Hoboken, and then train all the way to Detroit, Chicago, and up the peninsula, Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Fort Custer, his military camp,
I don't even think.
military police.
Oh, okay. I don't even think Fort Custer exists anymore.
Yeah. Also, it's hurricane, the last hurricane,
Okay.
wiped out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
What a sin. So you're actually in the Army when D-Day happens.
Yeah.
Or not D-Day, when Pearl Harbor happens.
Yeah.
You're in there.
Yeah.
What was your feeling? What was going on inside of you?
Well, I too young to understand that war,
Yeah.
Japan. Who's Japan? Flying circle.
The zeros,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I always say that every generation, I don't even know how old you are, Chris, but every generation has a moment that they remember. For instance, your generation is Pearl Harbor.
Yeah.
My parents' generation is when Kennedy was shot. Our generation is 9/11. I remember 9/11, and especially being here, we have a front row seat to it. I remember when 9/11 happened like it was yesterday, and it's 23 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
23 years ago.
yeah, 9/11 is 23 years ago.
Oh my God.
So here,
It's like yesterday.
yeah, for me it is too.
And January 6th, riot.
The January 6th riots. The
Trump.
the Capitol riots.
Yeah.
Pearl Harbor happens. So you pretty much know that you're going to war.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think everybody, my grandfather, what little information I could get out of him and his brothers, some of them, most of them, joined willingly. Although one of their brothers, they got drunk and they decided to go join the military. And
Oh, yeah.
the one brother who's
Drunk 3 times in the army. That's all.
that's it. Well,
Yeah. Quit smoking, everything.
my grandfather was from a family of 9 Irish people, so drinking was as normal
Irish.
Yeah, me too. So, but they the one brother whose idea it was to go down and join the military, he was rejected, and the other ones went in, and one of them ended up getting captured at the Kasserine Pass in North Africa.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so you're going to war, and you're a young man, so. There's a I guess there's something about national pride, like you're proud of America and you wanted to go fight for them, but you're probably scared too.
Oh, yeah. Scared. I don't think I'm scared because very lucky in Battle of the Bulge.
Mm-hmm.
One day before that, I all the way from Antwerp, Bastogne,
Mm-hmm.
and go on train to Paris.
Well, so you had told me that you landed in England on what, June 3rd, 1944?
Yeah, no, about June 25th or 26th.
So you came
I
right
go.
after.
Yeah.
There might be
Yeah.
there might be a little luck involved because you seem to miss these major battles by a couple
Lucky.
days.
Yeah. Battle of Bulge. I one day earlier going to Paris. One day earlier, I would have been in it again.
Rather be lucky than good, though. You know, and that's a completely different conversation. Battle of the Bulge, we had a gentleman sitting in that very seat who was in the Battle of the Bulge, and he was telling me it was like the forest was exploding. That's what he told me. He goes, it was like the trees were exploding.
Yeah, everything.
Yep.
Very cold too.
Yep, and they couldn't dig foxholes because their shovels were breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he gave me a window into what that was like, and the fact that you missed them is, you know, part of me thinks that you're always put in a spot that you're supposed to be in. So you were supposed to miss those because you had something else to do.
Yeah, well, small boat, MTL, motor tow launch, maybe 50-foot long, and I steer it.
This was while you were in France?
Yeah, I go to Bastogne and go into Paris, whole Paris, 18 years old. Yeah. Oh, boy. Stellar.
Those are stories for a different podcast. Your time in Paris as a young 18-year-old man who thinks they know everything and got the world by the you know what? Yeah.
Then maybe that's where he can answer where I don't know something about him.
Yeah. I would keep those secrets that what happened in Paris, because what happens in Paris usually stays in Paris.
No. MP come along, and all I have on fatigues. No Paris. You go to Antwerp again.
Oh, no. Did you ever see any action when you were over in Europe?
Bombs come over. D2 bombs come over and silent from France over to London and also Plymouth, England, and harbor there. And I get nearly all windows out, but that's all.
Yeah. You were very fortunate because I think the majority, if you're over there, that's the middle of that's the epicenter.
33 months I go.
You were long after the war had ceased.
Yeah.
Now, what was your duties? What was your duties? Were you still MP?
Little larger tugboats.
Oh, you were on the sea. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And Liberty ships from it, anchor out, and large barge, and storage tanks and empty out, and only Utah Beach is sandy and only high tide because 24-foot drop and high tide 24 foot up and Liberty ships come and I unload them and go in as far as possible, anchor them, and then engineers comes out and crane.
Oh, they bring the materials over, yeah.
Put tanks on barges ammunition on barges, and then also lot of only nighttime is driver's truck, because I know Germans was close enough to